Good evening. Part 2 of Books and Things with Tom, and this is our Denison Farm Markets series. And each week we're bringing you a different farm and trying to educate everybody on farm markets. We have several farm markets around, and I'm just trying to get to meet the farmers and have you know who they are and what kind of products they offer, and the difference between GMOs and different kinds of farming. Today we have Ed and Belinda Learned from the Stonyledge farm in Clarks Falls, North Stonington. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Glad you could make it. Now, how long have you owned your farm?
We bought it in December of 1992, so 23 years.
Yeah, wow. And obviously you like farming because you wouldn't do it otherwise.
We had actually gone on a road trip to upstate Maine looking at farms for sale.
Really?
They were 11 hours away, and my parents live 15 minutes away. And I wanted our kids to know their grandparents, so
Yeah.
we kind of put the kibosh on upstate Maine.
Yeah, and actually we had your mom and dad on last week.
Yeah,
That was the Wingates, and that was very interesting.
it is. They're great. They're a anchor of the community.
Yeah.
But about a month after we came back from upstate Maine, Ed saw an ad in the paper with a farm for sale.
Huh.
And the phone number had no area code. So Connecticut only had 203 back
203,
then.
yeah.
And he put the area code, dialed the number. Oh, they didn't have a farm for sale. What paper was this ad in? Finally, my mom said, just call it, because Pawcatuck Exchange could call Westerly
Yep.
without putting the area code in, and we got through.
Huh.
And it was meant to be.
Yeah.
So we went, looked at it, loved it, and now we're 15 minutes away, so.
Isn't that neat? And your son's on another farm, not too much further away.
Yeah.
About a mile and a half down the road.
Yeah, it's close.
It is.
Now there's a dairy farm.
Correct.
Yep. And we bought that in 2005, maybe?
Probably, yeah.
The older couple who owned it, their son had run it by himself since he graduated from high school. And I think, the time was right, and they said, would you be interested in buying our dairy farm? And we had a little family meeting, and we said, well, if the bank loans us the money, sure.
And that's good, and it's working, and they work well together.
Yes, they do. And they've done a really good job, and they make quality milk, and they're constantly trying to improve it. The thing that's nice about them being young is they're not afraid to try different things. They read. They stay on top of everything. We do not use BST. We don't run hot loads of grain to the cows to produce more milk. It's more genetics and stuff, and the boys know how to artificially inseminate the cows. They take care of them. They really do love the animals. And it shows. They take really good care, and their heart's in it. They've got the fire, and that's the most important thing, because if you look at it from a monetary standpoint, the returns are minimal. But if you look at it from everybody helps everybody, and we'll drop something and maybe go help Belinda or help them, and it's fun. You get to see your family, and you get to see the grandkids, and it's awesome.
You're never bored.
No.
No, and never quiet either.
No.
Now, how many acres do you farm?
We have a lot of woodland where we live up at Stonyledge Farm. So all
I don't know,
total?
maybe around 150 acres we have something on it, or pasture, and because we have cows on a lot of pasture, because then they clean stuff, and then we go in there and cut the trees, and so pasture is very important too.
Wow.
And then
Now,
the pigs are our bulldozers.
Oh, really? They do all the work.
Well, they'll get stumps out, bury rocks.
Really? You train them?
Although they are very intelligent. They know the path we take up to the pen with the compost bucket,
Yeah.
and that's the one they run down when they inadvertently end up on the wrong side of the fence,
Oh, that's
or
cool.
get out and can't fit back in.
Now, we were talking about you talked about the cattle and the pigs, and at the market, I gotta tell you, the best hamburgers.
Oh, I appreciate that. I can't take the credit for that, I just cook them.
Yeah.
But Sam at Westerly Packing checks the carcasses every day, and his two sons and all the other people that work there, and when it's ready to go, they do it up, and that's the difference between Tyson and places like that, because the meat doesn't hang. It goes through an assembly line, and 2 minutes later it's gone.
Yeah.
And many people have asked, oh, what kind of spices do you put in it, and what do you do to it? And it's like absolutely nothing. It hangs, and when it's ready, and they cut it out of the steaks, and then they add some fat to it and grind it all up and make it into patties, and we cook it.
Just fantastic. Now, when does the market open? Denison
The
Market.
Denison Farm Market starts Sunday, I believe. The first Sunday in June might be the 7th.
Oh, okay.
Don't quote me on
Yeah.
that, I didn't check that.
And at that market, you sell a whole array of things. But to get on the cooking part, because Ed actually stands at that burner all day long and cooks bratwurst,
Kelly dogs.
Kelly dogs.
They're
Yep.
from pork, so
Yep.
they're delicious.
Yep.
Then we have hot dogs made from our beef.
Yeah.
And there's no nitrates, fillers, gluten, junk
Nothing.
of any kind in a
And
natural casing.
and no mystery meat either. It's all cut out of the steaks. So
That's great.
Yep, and
if-
then the
If you
burgers.
want a burger that you probably can't finish, this is where you get it.
They're
'Cause
half-pound patties.
I know, I get one, I keep thinking, you gotta get the half of it, because I can't finish it, so I end up wrapping it up, taking it home, and that's dinner.
well, that works. There you go.
So
We
they're
always-
delicious. And your onions, I don't know what you do with those things, but they're unbelievable.
Trade secret.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
No, we had wanted something for the Garlic Festival maybe 3 years back that you could opt out of, because you really have to love garlic to eat garlic ice
Oh, yeah.
cream
Yeah.
or garlic cupcakes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, for those that aren't adventurous, maybe a little relish that they could say no thank you.
Yeah.
So I kind of scoured a whole bunch of recipes, tried a few, and this one was so good.
It is tremendous. Now, you're, besides beef and pork and veal, what else do you have?
Wait, I'm sorry.
Pasture-raised chickens, like my son Tim moves the chicken tractors around the field every day to fresh grass. And we also have eggs.
Okay.
Our layers go outside. Our compost pile is right around the corner from their chicken house. So we do close them up at night because there are marmots.
Yeah.
But that compost pile, they head right to it, peck, scratch, eat bugs, soak up the sunshine. It's just a very healthy environment.
Yeah.
And they're nice eggs.
I had an egg from one of the other farmers, opened it up, and a double yolk. That's the first one I've had.
Really?
Yeah, I even took a
Well-
picture of it.
I think with a new batch of hens, they're prevalent.
Yeah.
Why, I can't tell you, but I don't know.
It's nothing like farm fresh eggs. Nothing.
Yeah, good taste, good flavor.
Yeah, unless you're trying to hard boil them. Yeah.
We've been trying to perfect our technique, and my daughter's the one who had the patience to do it. She put a little pinhole in the end where the air pocket is,
Yeah.
hard-boiled them, and they peeled.
I was just gonna say, I haven't
Much
tried it,
easier.
but I saw it on the internet. And it just, you don't stick it all the way through. Just to get that little socket.
Yep, and somehow it loosens that inner membrane from the shell, works like a charm. Only
Well,
took
that's-
me how many years to figure that one out.
But she's been cooking them so that when you cut them open, it's just white and yellow. There's no gray area, because the gray area is when they're a little overcooked. So she's been timing that too. She's been.
A true perfectionist.
We have many batches that end up being, either sandwiches or hard-boiled eggs or something. So.
Yeah, because I'm always timing it wrong too. That's something about 15 minutes after it's boiled, and I get them, the yolk is a little soggy. I know it's not right.
Yep.
It tasted good.
Oh, yeah.
Now, do you grow anything up there also? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
We do. Up at Stonyledge, we have some fruit trees. We've got a small patch of strawberries this year, but we're planting more for next year. Some raspberries, but we grow a lot of vegetables. We do community-supported agriculture shares, so families will buy a piece, a share of everything we grow on the farm. There's a spring one with a lot of greens. What's there in spring? Radishes, greens, and rhubarb. And the shares come with eggs too. Then summer is 12 weeks, starts out with greens and rhubarb, and then goes into the vegetables as they come in season. And then fall has a lot of good stuff because there's still tomatoes, melons, but yet your winter squashes start coming in, so that's pretty good. And winter share is basically meant to bulk you up for winter. Big bag of potatoes, onions, leeks. We always get cornmeal from Davis Farm and apples from a local grower because I just don't have enough apples. Honey, if we have a good honey year, so it's a nice treat.
Oh, I didn't know you had your own bees. Wow.
We like to ensure the pollination.
Yeah.
Bumblebees do most of it, but it's just tough getting the hive to get through the winter.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know what's happening to bees. The bees are dying off, and but it's probably GMOs.
pesticides, I
Yeah.
think. You know, it used to be every road had a corner lot with brush and ragweed, all the little native wildflowers,
Sure.
weeds.
Yeah.
But it's a good pollen source for the bees. And now, perfect lawns, the lack of weeds, I think, hurts the bees.
If you come to our house, we have dandelions everywhere, and they just keep rotating because they'll flower up, they'll die, and they'll blow away, and we just have more because it helps feed the bees.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah, I know you got butterfly bushes, but you don't have bee bushes.
No, but there's lists that you can Google, you know, bee
Yeah.
pollen friendly. But I think one of the early spring nectar flows is dandelions. I think skunk cabbage, don't ask me, that's what I've heard, and pussy willows. So
Pussy willows, wow.
it's a good thing to know in the back of your head. But
Yeah.
go to any garden center and I'm sure somebody can set you on the right path because there are some definite bee favorites.
Now, growing your own bees, do you get stung often?
no, not really. The only time we got stung was one time my daughter was in a suit, and I was just there with a T-shirt
It's
and
a bee
pants
suit
on.
with
Oh, okay.
you know, everything's
Yeah.
protected.
But she wanted to do the honey super, and the honey super weighs about 60 pounds, and she was strong, you know, and she wanted to do it herself, so she picked up the honey super and was moving it, and I don't know exactly what happened, but it slipped out of her hands and it dropped, and at about that point in time, about 60,000 bees came flying out, and I went running up the driveway, and they got inside my glasses and stuff and stung my eyes, but it's all right. Within a couple days, it went away. But
He could open them.
everybody got a good laugh, though, because my eyes were shut. It's all right.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen that much.
Wasn't the bee's fault.
No,
not at all.
definitely not.
No.
And you know, I like when like the CSA customers come to the farm to have learning moments, educational moments. If a bee should land on somebody, your first instinct is to squish them.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to gather any more nectar to help make honey.
That's right. If they're dead, you can't do
So
it.
Right.
just a little, just
Yeah.
blow them off and they won't bother you.
Well, I think wasps and hornets, you don't let them sit there.
Yeah, they tend to be a little
Yeah.
more ornery.
But bees, you think of the bee the same thing. It's going to sting you.
And they're not bad. I mean, you can also, when you're working with them, smoke them too, which kind of calms them down a little bit. But if you go slow, it's relaxing. I'm kind of looking forward to being retired coming up, so that way I can spend more time with the bees on the farm and everything else. So it's
Because you can, if you pick your weather, you don't even need smoke. A nice sunny day where there's no wind, you can handle the frames barehanded.
Wow.
As long as you have a light touch. You don't just whip the top off and
Yeah,
rattle
yeah.
them all around.
Now, that brings me to another subject, is the honey. And I know I'd read on the internet something about the honey that you're buying in the stores that isn't pure anymore.
I think they pasteurize it.
Is that what it is?
I think so. I'm not sure what that does. We strain it. Bits of wax. It strains it to a nice clear consistency. So ours technically is raw honey, and I know it's good stuff. I read an article where honey was used on a wound. It heals it. It's got good medicinal properties.
And it doesn't go bad.
no.
Because I know I've had honey where a friend of mine had bees, and that thing was, on the top of it was like white. And he said, oh, no, just in the microwave.
Yep.
I said, whoa.
Yeah.
Yep. It reconstitutes it if it crystallizes.
Yeah.
You can set it in a pan of warm water.
And that's actually what the sugar is, the white.
I think so,
Yeah.
because it's grainy.
Yeah.
Crystals, sugar crystals.
What's the beer they make with it? Mead or something?
Yeah.
A lot of people want to get the raw stuff when they're making mead.
Oh, okay.
So they hunt us down to use it when they're making beer.
There's nothing like honey.
Well, anything natural is so much better for you. And
Absolutely.
it has stronger flavor.
Yes.
Gives I always put a couple tablespoons in my pancake batter, just because it makes it better.
Yeah. Somebody makes deviled eggs and adds honey. Ooh.
Wow.
Delicious.
Nice. I'll have to keep that in mind.
Yeah. And just as a reminder, when you go to the Denison Farm Market and you go in through the big gate and go all the way to the left, it looks like a circus down there because there's, 3 or 4 tents? And you got Big Ed standing there cooking, and then you got
The vegetables.
the vegetables and
And then Oma and Papa are there.
yeah.
And then the coolers with the frozen stuff.
And then yours
so-
is down there with all the meats and stuff, and it's neat.
Well, it's nice because anybody can go to a grocery store and not say a word to anybody if you don't want to.
Yeah.
But at the farmer's market, it's a little different. You know, hi, how are you today? Oh,
You
you
get to
know.
talk in and,
Yeah.
and you get to know your customers.
You do.
And they get to know you, because the whole thing is you're seeing generations there. And I mean, we're getting ready to start, you know, getting our plan in place to start giving parts of the farm to the kids, and you know, turning over to the next generation. And there's the grandkids, and it just takes a whole process, and it's a blast. It just, you know,
But
it's
they
not
all know, you know, Bradley, he's 5, he'll be 6. He's out, he's got his little shovel, he's filling compost into the wheelbarrow. And certainly not, you know, forced to
Yeah.
help, but
Yeah.
that's where we are. He wants to be where we are. What can I do? Well, here's a watering can. Go up the row.
And
All
they
those
learn.
little tomatoes, and it's
It's part of participation. It's learning. I mean, I really think everybody should have a little garden in their backyard,
Yeah.
just for the kids to see and stuff. And plus, it's so great.
Yeah.
You know, you grow up some stuff, you grab it, you make a salad, whatever. Nothing tastes as good as a
they're-
tomato you just pick
Yeah.
from your own garden.
But they're curious. They find the little woolly bear caterpillar or a centipede, and you can usually think of something educational.
Yeah. Now, farming is a lot of work, but it's gratitude.
It's rewarding.
Yeah, very rewarding, because you come in at night and you know you've worked hard and have a nice fresh meal. And
And you sleep good.
Yeah. Yep.
And the kids do too.
yeah, good night.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty quick.
No, but you get one ride on this thing we call life.
Yeah,
So you have to do what you love, and you better love what you do.
that's right.
Because,
That's right. And then it's not work.
yeah,
No, it's not. It's fun, you know?
Yeah.
And we try to make sure that everybody can have a little time off, you know, I mean, not a lot, but enough to do stuff
Yeah.
with their significant others. And it's really nice, because everybody pitches in and helps, and many hands lighten the load.
Yeah. And then you save a lot of money at the grocery store, too.
We still have to buy a lot of processed stuff like toilet paper and stuff like that.
laundry detergent.
Yeah.
And as another note, that you're down at the
Stonington?
Stonington Market at the Velvet Mill.
Right now, we're counting down, though.
Yeah.
On May 23rd, we'll go outside to the town dock again.
Okay.
And that's where we'll be all summer long, but from 9 to noon.
Right.
Indoor hours at the Velvet Mill are 10 to 1.
Okay.
But the Velvet Mill is just a great outlet to go to during the winter time.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, it is. It's terrific. It's a godsend.
Yeah.
People can walk around. There's other shops in there. They have a beer guy. They have clothes. They have antique dealers, artists.
Glass blowers.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's terrific.
They've done a tremendous job with that place.
Yep.
And it attracts such a diverse group of people.
Yeah.
Not what I would think are typical farm market shoppers. A lot of our customers have a basket, or they bring their own bags or cooler bag. A lot of folks just say, let's go to Stonington for the day or the weekend. What is there to do? And they end up at the market. And there's just a whole lot there to keep them busy, interested.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's really nice. So when you go to Denison Farm Market or the Stonington Farm Market, down at the docks or inside the Velvet Mill, you got to stop in and say hello to Ed and Belinda, and just say, hey, I saw you on TV. And again, it's just get people to know who you are, what you do, and we have the phone number up there so they can call and say, hey, I want a side of beef or whatever. And drum a little business, and really we discussed this last week, was the price of farm market stuff, and people say, well, it's expensive. Yeah, it probably is a little more expensive, but it's better.
Well, you know where it came from.
Yeah.
It hasn't used fossil fuels traveling across the entire country.
And-
We use local processors, local families,
Excuse me.
so we do what we can, you know, keep
Plus,
it
you get a
local.
lot of varieties because all the people at the farmers market have different things, and there's a lot of different varieties of tomatoes and stuff that you don't see in a store because they don't pack well, they don't travel well. So these people that grow them at their farms and bring them, you're getting them pretty much at the peak of freshness right then and there.
Yeah.
Peak
And
of flavor.
Yeah.
They're meant to taste good, not sit on a store shelf.
Yeah, and you don't know how long it's been there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing I see. And it does cost a little more to grow year round, and I know you're making $1 million an hour down there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we got a couple Maseratis in the barn. You know, just have tarps on top of them. So
Yeah, we don't want to show everybody.
yeah.
No, after 23 years, we just bought a little tractor for my garden.
Oh, really?
A little bucket, but it gets to the point where a wheelbarrow is fine, but I'm not getting any younger either.
Yeah.
And it just makes it much more convenient, comfortable. You're not killing yourself. And you have to do that, or you end up disliking what you do.
Yeah, and then it becomes work.
Yeah.
And that's just Stonyledge Farm, and it's Clarks Falls? Clarks Falls, North Stonington. If you're driving around, stop in and say hello. I've been up there, it's very nice. It's a nice little piece of property. We got 2 minutes left, and I'd like to thank you for staying tuned for the extra half hour to watch our farmers market program. And next week's guest is going to be the Hayter Farm. Ron Hayter will be here from Franklin, Connecticut. Next week's guest on Books and Things is Sandy Maniscalco, who is one of the founders of Brodeur Cancer Foundation. And I think that that's going to be a very interesting program also. And especially how they started it, because I do know how they worked that program and got it going. So, next time you're down at the Denison Farm Market, which opens in a couple of weeks.
First weekend in June.
First weekend in June. 4 weeks. You're going to stop in, you're going to ask for Ed and Belinda. Just turn left when you walk in the gateway, and you're gonna
Follow
see
your
them right there.
nose.
Follow your nose. You're going to see the big guy standing there cooking those delicious hamburgers.
Yep. We also have the frozen ones if you don't have time.
And you can just buy them and bring them home, try to cook them yourself, see how that works out.
Well, thank you for having us.
Well, thank you for coming, because I really appreciate you guys coming down here, and I hope hope you liked it. Thank you for watching, and you can email me at santostom@comcast.net. You should be reading. I'll see you next week.